All right, sweet. So today we're gonna be going over leases. So first things first, in the MLS, you can have a property up for lease and sale at the same time. Um, in some situations, I feel like that's pretty beneficial, especially if the property has struggled to sell in the past. Why not have it available for both, just in case? Um, the first thing that you are going to do in any leasing situation is this exclusive right to lease.
Is this gonna be recorded?
It is recorded, yep.
Are you putting it on YouTube or no?
I will be, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I do have it recording. Okay, perfect. This is going to be the agreement with you and the landlord. You want, I mean, just like with any listing, you want to get the agreement with the seller before you start doing anything. Don't waste your time if they're not ready to sign this. This is going to be the landlord. This is going to be Eller Metz Realty Incorporated. Same thing with beginning and end of your agreement date. Don't set it for a month, set it for 6. Go ahead and, I mean, it's the same thing as the listing agreement for sale. Pop in all the property information, if it's currently occupied or not. Rental period and rate. Most of these are going to be monthly for you. It's very few and far between that I'm going to put an annual amount in here. Second best chance is probably going to be a seasonal if they're renting out to snowbirds, January through March-ish. Advanced rents, deposits, and fees. So
And to be clear, we're not doing Airbnb. We haven't messed with that at all.
no,
Okay.
that's totally up to
Mhm.
the owner.
Yeah.
I highly recommend taking a first, last, and a security deposit fee. I always shoot for those to be the same as 1 month's rent. And if they have pets, doing a non-refundable pet deposit because
Yeah.
we've also seen some very fun things.
And a lot of people are nervous to ask for that, but if you don't, they're not protected very well. And by asking for this too, it doesn't, just because somebody's a renter doesn't mean they don't have money. It just means their credit is typically tanked or they don't want to be a buyer. So why not ask?
Yep. Broker obligations. You can choose if you want to put a for rent sign on. Same with the lockbox. I don't see why you wouldn't put a super on there in case another agent wants to go show, so you don't have to be present.
Sure.
Execute leases on behalf of owner. I would not sign yourself up to do that. If your owner is out of state, send them to him like a normal signature request. Compensate any tenants/consumers, brokers in the transaction, except when not in owner's best interest. I would not recommend highlighting this one. There's another section where, just like in a listing to sell, you can highlight that the landlord will pay for the other agent on the other side. Normally that's only about $100. That's why it's not really worth it for us. Well, it used to not really be worth it for us to help tenants find properties, but now we have to have the buyer broker agreement signed for either actual buyers or renters. So whatever you want to get paid for helping someone find a rental, let them know, hey, they normally pay out 50, $100. My fee for rental placement is, I normally shoot for 500 or 600 because it's taken up the same amount of time that it would be to help them find a home.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
This is only sellers or landlords. The buyer broker agreement, there's a section on that for buyer or a lease.
Okay.
Yep. But still same thing because you're still showing them homes. Advertising. You're saying that, yes, I will be putting this on the MLS. And I'm going to follow all their policies and procedures. You're going to go ahead. You do not want an automated valuation of value. You don't want people being able to leave comments or anything.
We always say no to that because we're the professionals. We do it every day.
Yeah.
We don't need somebody else's opinion of value. That's our job.
Well, and the worst thing that you could have is have it up for rent and Zillow saying,
Oh, yeah.
oh, it's worth $2,100 a month, and you have it at 27.
Mhm.
It's immediately gonna shoot
Which
in
it
the foot.
will strongly do. Like in my community, it'll do that. It'll show a home off the water, and our rate would be the same on a saltwater canal. It's like, yeah, I don't think so.
You get it right.
It's just a totally different beast, and Zillow doesn't see that.
Yeah. And just so we're clear, I'm not gonna go through and read every single point of this thing.
Mhm.
I expect you guys to go through and do that, but I am gonna highlight the important parts of what you're gonna be going through and filling out. This is one of those. If there's a community mailbox, they're gonna need those keys. How many keys are gonna be provided? If there's a pool, if there's a fob for that, how many fobs are gonna be provided? Garage door openers.
Yeah.
Is there a key that they need for the boat ramp?
Right.
All those fun things. To provide complete and accurate information to broker, including disclosing all known facts and materials like the. Okay, this is for lead-based paint, so if the property is 1977 or earlier, you're gonna need to have an addendum for that. Compensation, the fun part. So
The fun
what?
part.
This is all up to you guys. I found what's easiest and what makes most sense for me is to charge 1 month's rent.
I haven't had anybody quibble about 1 month's rent.
Nope,
Um,
no pushback.
Now it's different when they're renewing a lease. Then, you know, if it's the same person that's staying in there,
Mhm.
I don't charge them a month's rent again because the person's in there, just to rewrite a lease and put it on them. You need to
Mhm.
determine what that value should be for yourself.
Yep. Time and manner of payment, I still do the typical within 3 calendar days.
What does that mean?
So within 3 calendar days, broker will deduct fee if said rent is.
Oh, okay, that they have to pay you basically, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
if,
okay,
if,
yeah, I remember that, okay.
if the tenant signs the agreement on Monday,
Mhm.
they're paying you on the latest on Wednesday or
Yep, and
Thursday.
let's make sure we understand this. The way that we've been doing this that works out well is the tenant pays the owner,
Mhm.
then the owner pays us.
Mhm.
And so we give them time to get that check and get it
Yeah.
cashed. Or if it's Zelled to them, however it's being done.
Mhm.
But the goal is to
What
have
kind
that
of form of payment
communication
can
with
they
them.
give us?
Check.
A check, okay.
I've had
From the
the
landlord?
landlords.
Yes.
Yeah, because it has to come to the brokerage stuff.
Elements.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And so Zelling, it's possible to do. It's just a pain in the neck to track it.
Good question, since we're touching the topic, how does that work as far as, so let's say I get the check, let's say it's $2,000, I give it to you,
Mhm.
and then how does that work? Do we still,
Same
is
as
it same
always.
85?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Mhm.
oh, okay, okay,
Same as always, depends
Okay.
on what split you're at that
okay,
point.
And with this,
yeah, yeah, okay.
just so you guys know, I prefer doing this one because it's after entering into a
Mhm.
lease,
Okay.
not this one, which is the rent payment is due from the tenant.
Okay.
Yep.
I think this one's a little easier for everyone else to understand. Agrees to pay broker's fee if ba, 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 ba. With this one, I would still do 60 to 90 days.
Absolutely.
Give yourself a nice little protection buffer. Compensation to tenants broker. Owner, so this is where you can go in and either select that you'll pay the other agents or that the owner will pay the other agents.
Mhm.
Make it easy on yourself, have the owner pay the other agent.
Mhm.
And that's usually where you put the $100?
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Early termination, once again, this fee is up to you guys. If I'm sinking an hour, 2, 3 into something, I'm going to want to get paid.
Yeah.
What have you put in there? I don't remember what I put in there, actually.
500.
Fair enough.
I don't want them to mess around and waste my time.
Mm-hmm.
It can also be, you know, you can go 750, 1,000. That's not a
You
problem.
could still put 1 month's rent in there.
Yeah.
It all depends on.
Mm-hmm.
what
And
the
we
person
don't,
has to.
yeah, and we don't work as single agents of an owner.
Yeah.
That's just not who we are as a firm. We work as transaction brokers. That's the most recognized in our state. And we stick with that because it's also the hardest to sue.
Well, and by using this too, you're not having to use any specialty forms. Every standard form
Mhm.
is laid out for a transaction
That's right.
broker. You don't have to do anything extra.
I think it's nuts when people put themselves out there as single agents. People still do because they think, no, I'm going to represent that side and that side only. And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, but now you have obedience and other things that you have to do, and it's easier to mess up than it is to be working for the transaction.
So with that in mind, now that you have the listing agreement executed, your next step is finding them a tenant.
Don't we have a standard rental contract on our app files too that's filled out?
We do, and I can share that, but I
Mhm.
wanna go over rent spree really
Sure,
quick, because this is
absolutely.
the main tool that you're gonna be using for any
Mhm.
kind of tenants. Um,
Wait,
this
slow down. Do you
one,
guys know where to find that?
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
On the front, yeah.
all right, just
okay,
making sure.
perfect.
It is under Stellar
Products.
Tools Products,
Yep.
Stellar Products.
So this was the last lease that I had up. Through Rent Spree, obviously you can set it up, you can link this to your listing in the MLS. The main thing with this is tenant screening. So whenever I'm doing anything with a lease, for some reason, people always want to hand you money. I do not want to touch any money
Mhm.
ever until it's my check at the very end. This allows you to go in, send tenants screening processes, and they can pay directly through the website for this service.
And I've also never had anybody gripe about this at all. It just is as professional as can be.
Yep. So you go in, create your screening request, goes over standard rental application, credit report, eviction records, extended background checks, income verification, reference check, emails, ID and documentation requests. They're only paying $50. Honestly, if a tenant's not willing to pay that, I don't think that they're a serious tenant, or I
Mhm.
really wouldn't want them in my house. Hey Daphne, you wanna? Long story short, you type in their email here. Go in and request application, or you can copy a link. And you can text it to them, you can create a little QR code, you can do whatever you want with that. But once you get the returned copy, you can provide it to the landlords that you're not the only one seeing and relaying what information was provided.
So once the results get back, do they get back to you or do they get back to the landlord?
Both,
Okay.
Yep.
And then he can decide if they wanna like,
correct.
It's their decision, not ours.
yeah,
We're-
Yeah.
We're
yeah,
not,
yeah.
we're not saying, here's the perfect
Yeah.
tenant for you. We're saying,
Okay.
here's the information that we,
So like which one you want?
that came through the programs, yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Just like we don't name a listing price on a house. We show people the comps
Okay.
and tell them this is what the data says it should be listed at.
Yeah.
It's not my opinion, it's the numbers.
So this is the best tool that I could possibly recommend. It's free to you, keeps your hand out of the
Mhm.
pot per se, and it is really thorough. So next thing is going to be the residential lease. This is, you have found the tenant, they've done their screening, the landlord and the tenant are ready to move forward. Really, any negotiations should have been completed at this point if the tenant wanted to change anything to do with price, or really, it's normally just gonna be price.
Typically,
This is where you're going to put your name. And this is the page to CYA, saying that you are not a paralegal, you are not an attorney, you are just a realtor helping them fill this out.
and you still have them do our standard disclosure as well.
Okay.
Yes,
That's the only way our E&O covers you. If you don't have that on a deal, you're not covered, and then it's negligent, so we don't cover you.
yeah,
You need to have that for.
Can we add that onto the documents that is
Yeah,
already
you
there?
can merge it.
Mhm.
No, like,
Oh, into a
like already,
checklist?
yeah, into a checklist, yeah.
Yes. Yes, I can.
Okay.
Will you send me a text?
Sure.
And then even you're going in,
I'm gonna forget it.
landlord and tenant, can they read English? If not, who read it to them and did they understand it?
Yeah.
This is where it's gonna be a little self-explanatory. Obviously, landlord name, tenant name, everyone's information, the property that's been rented. Is the property fully furnished or not? If so, I would recommend going through and taking a video of everything before the tenant moves in.
For sure.
Even down to, hey, the dishwasher, take a picture of the model number on the inside of it to make sure that they don't do something weird.
Or if they swap out a fridge.
Exactly. You have your lease term. Normally, we're just seeing these go for a year. I mean, your standard is gonna be an annual lease. Once again, you can have a seasonal, or someone can choose to do a month to month. I personally wouldn't recommend doing a month to month unless you know the person really well.
Well, and even on this, I mean, once the landlord makes their decision, I don't even want to be the one meeting the tenant at the house if I can avoid it. If the owner is local, I get them to go so they know who's going to be in their house and
Mhm.
takes it off of us.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I'll meet them.
Well, it's the same kind of thing as doing a walkthrough.
Mm-hmm,
You want the buyer there, but if they can't, you're gonna FaceTime them.
right, that's
Yeah.
right.
So this is going over payments. Typical rent right now is what, 2,600?
Can be.
That's
Depends on
20.
where.
There we go. They're gonna be paying in installments more likely than not, monthly. With this, I'm normally doing it, what day are they executing the lease agreement? And that's the day that's getting put into their recurring payment for every month for however long their agreement is for. I made the mistake, so 2,600 times 12. Hey, mathematician. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm gonna call it 45,000. I don't know. No, it's probably,
36.
yeah. I like that number.
31,200.
Ooh, so close. Okay, but also this is where totally random. If I'm working with a first-time home buyer and they've been renters for a really long time, busting out how much they're paying annually in rent, people don't think about it.
No.
They just see that monthly payment and
Mhm.
never think about it again. And that's just 31 grand just fine. Okay. Moving on.
Just out the window, yeah.
Um, make sure that your landlords are factoring in their property taxes into the rent, as well as their HOA fees to make sure that they're actually
Getting money.
making money off of
And their
their
insurance,
property.
because they still have to have it insured, even though you have to insist also that
Correct.
the
Renter's
renter
insurance.
has renter's insurance, yeah.
Yep. Cause you wanna be able to just have a flat fee for everything. You know, you don't wanna see taxes on the rent when applicable in the amount of, on this lease agreement. Um. That's all taxes still, all payments payable to name of the landlord.
I will say one of the things I do add into the lease personally that I want to see is that the landlord takes care of the lawn care.
Mhm.
Because then you have somebody going out there actually cutting it, when it needs it, instead of a renter that may or may not, and then they end up getting in trouble with, their association.
Yep, and if you're gonna do that, make sure that that price is
included in the rent.
included in the rent.
Mhm.
So making sure that all payments are going to the landlord at whatever their address is, PO box, what have you. This is where the tenant and landlord can come to their own agreement on, hey, are they gonna be paying you cash? Personal check, I've even been able to just select other and they've Zelled them every
Yep.
month.
I've gotten that too.
Whatever is easiest and makes most sense for both parties. If the tenant makes a rent payment with a worthless check, what happens?
$5. Which one to make?
Well, and it does have a cap on it, Florida statute 66.065. I believe it caps it at a certain, there's a percentage that you can't put it over. So if your monthly rent's 2,600, you can't say, oh, well, you owe me $5,000 now for giving me a bad check.
Yeah.
It's more likely than not gonna pan out to 20, 25
Our
bucks
typical, I
in
put
back
50 bucks
fees.
in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And banks are 25.
You wanna make it painful enough that it's like, yeah, if
Yeah.
I've gotta deal with this, then.
Yeah.
Money due prior to occupancy. This is going to be first, last security deposit, pet deposits, all that fun stuff. This will be the lump sum up here. You're going to break it down here. So we have first month's, and this is due at execution of lease.
Mhm.
Okay, I can't type.
It's okay,
You know what I mean.
We get it.
Advanced rent month. Actually, there's last. Where I put first month?
So that's the first advance.
Yep. Oh, just kidding. I already have first months up there. I'm losing my mind.
You're doing great.
Thank you. Security deposit, 1 month rent. Yeah, the other one right there. You can collect an additional security. I think that would be kind of hard to do with a tenant if you're already doing 1 month's rent for all of this.
And I've had some owners go, look, I don't need to collect that much security deposit. I'm like, yes, you do. If you want to let something not be on here, take off the last month's rent, not the security deposit.
Yeah.
Because if they damage something and you don't have it in there, you're out of luck.
Yep. Or you can take them to small claims
You
court
can
and
try to
fight for
sue.
your life.
Yeah.
This goes over late fees as well, pet deposits and smoking. Obviously, I mean, unless this box is checked, no smoking is permitted on the premises. Unless this box is checked or checked or a pet deposit's made, they can't have animals. Make sure that you're reading through every single one of these lines to make sure that you're checking and unchecking boxes where applicable. Notices. So this is big. If your landlord has to go in and do some work on the property, that's annual maintenance. If they have to go in and say they want to put the home back on the market and they need someone to go take measurements and pictures and see what needs to be done prior to, you have to give the tenant notice before you can go into the house. You can't just knock on the door, say, hi, I'm here, let me in. Normally that's 24 hours per these agreements. But this is where you're setting up on the front end. If I send it to this person at this address, that is a proper notice, unless the tenant comes back and says, hey, can you actually send it to this PO box or my mom or my dad or whatever. Utilities. Who's paying utilities?
Depending which ones.
Exactly. Yeah. If I'm the landlord, I am going to put utilities on the tenants.
Every time.
I
Or
have
somebody will
the
leave
water on my tenants right now. I have the I'm paying for water, sewage and garbage.
Okay.
But I said I put it on the thing, up to $150. If they pass on the water for more than that, they're responsible for it.
Yeah.
And obviously I told them about it and they haven't passed it this whole year.
Well, the water's going up, so.
Yeah.
Important.
Yeah. This is a huge section. This is all maintenance and it comes down to what's the tenant responsible for and what's the landlord responsible for. Pretty much all of this, I'm going to recommend that you make the landlord's responsibility so that the tenant has to contact them for repairs and they can keep a good handle on what's happening with their property. If the tenant is responsible, I would put that on smoke detection devices
Have it on
if it needs a
screens.
battery replaced.
Mine's just on screen for the tenants.
Yeah, that makes
Because
sense.
they have small kids and.
Yeah, kids love to play with screens.
Mhm.
And
Like their
also,
cars on it.
yeah. Yeah. Extermination of rats, mice, roaches, and ants and bed bugs. I don't want a tenant to try and deal with that and go down to Ace Hardware and just get a roach motel if
Yeah.
something's happening at that property. Filters.
I have
This
tenants,
one,
too.
you can choose tenants, you can choose landlords.
I have
If you
tenants,
choose
but I provide them
tenants,
for the whole year of it.
yep,
Like a box with like 4 filters or 5 filters, I think it is.
Yeah.
The whole year.
yeah. Well, and it comes down, I mean, this is a weird one.
Mhm.
If they're using really thick ones, it's gonna put a lot of strain on your unit. If they're not replacing it, it's gonna
Yeah.
put a lot of strain on your
Mhm.
unit. So,
The other nice thing about that part is if you put it on the landlord, they're coming in once a month.
Mhm.
You get to see your property.
Yeah.
Is it being used as a puppy mill? I don't know, let me check. I'm gonna go change the air filter.
Unfortunately, mine is in the garage, so I wouldn't be able to go through too much. But
I'm
we're
so
friends,
th-
though.
Yes, you would, because you have 24-hour right to go in the house.
Yep. Simple stuff, keys and locks, write down the number of each. Lead-based paint, you're gonna have to have a warning statement. Here it is. And honestly, I mean, 1978, unless that property's never been painted, more likely than not, it has a couple layers over that lead-based paint, and unless you're seeing it crack and flake and you're doing something weird, you're not gonna have any troubles with it because it's been sealed up over years and years. But people still need to know about it. And the longer it's been since we've dealt with it, the more and more people forget that babies like to eat it. It's really tasty for some reason.
Mhm.
Make sure that you have the Protect Your Family from Lead in Your Home pamphlet. It is available through the ad form section.
Is that only if it's 1978?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's only for the paint. Landlord's access to premises is right through here. These are big chunks of, I'm not gonna read everything on this. Go through and read it before you have anyone sign it. Homeowners association shall be paid by landlord. Don't leave that up to the tenant. They can place liens on the home, not worth it. Use of the premises. This one is essentially saying, hey, if this box is checked, the tenant can go through and decorate however they want. Don't worry about using command strips or hooks. Go ahead, put as many nails in that wall as you so please. Make sure you have your drywall and patch ready if they want to check that box. Broker's commission. Check and complete if applicable. The brokerage company's name below will be paid. The commission set forth by paragraph by landlord.
Yep.
And then obviously put in your companies and your commissions.
Absolutely. Good job, Leah. Sorry, guys. I got a pull.
Nope, go do your thing. See ya. Early termination fee and liquidated damages addendum. I agree as provided in the rent agreement to pay blank amount, an amount that does not exceed 2 months rent as liquidated damages or early termination. So if the tenant's shopping for homes and they break their lease, this is what they're gonna pay. I've seen apartment buildings doing up to 3 months rent on these. So it's not unheard of if that's something that the landlord wants to go after. I would recommend having something in here just so that the tenant can't just up and leave. These are things that I'm just not gonna read you through. This is like pages 6 and 7 of the as is. It is still a lot of really important stuff though. Going over even, I mean, landlord's obligation to maintain the premises. It's stuff that you need to know. All right, and in some of this, it's allowing, this is where they would go back and say, where was it? I just saw it. Parts of this, you're indebted to me in the sum of blank dollars for the rent and use of the premises. Now occupied by you, and I demand the payment of the rent or possession of the premises within 3 days. So what do you do if someone's not paying? Partially starts here. Call Ann Johnson though. If you do need to start an eviction process, she can start that 7-day letter, which essentially says, hey, either pay us if you haven't been paying us, cure us if you're breaking the lease in some kind of way. You have 7 days to do so. If not, the eviction process is officially starting on blank day.
Do you know how long it takes? It's taking now?
The eviction process?
No.
I don't. Fortunately, I haven't had to deal with that yet. But I'll let you know. I might be here soon. We'll see. But yeah, casualty damage, retaliatory conduct, prohibited practices. Did you sign up to allow them to have their parents' cousin's sister live with them, and it's actually their parents' cousin's sister, their cousins, and their grandparents as well? Okay, we don't want all those people in that house. It's gonna get a little crazy. They also each have 3 dogs.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. This is where it all protects your landlord. Any questions?
No.
Okay. This is the final doc for today. It's just going over pet addendum. I don't think I've had a tenant that didn't have a pet yet. The pet fee that I normally put in here, $500 to $600. If it's a goldfish, you don't need a pet addendum. If it's several, like several cats or dogs, I will want to up that rate just because you're at a higher probability for something going wrong or getting damaged. Type, breed, color, name, this will be filled out by the tenant, but you have the ability in this situation to either one, send it to their agent if they have an agent. Most tenants that I've worked with are not represented, so more likely than not, you're gonna be sending this to them and walking them through it. They're going to email you and the landlord a picture of the pet. You're gonna put it into the app files, document. There's a little section over here where you can upload pictures, just so that you have it fully in your records. Getting so many calls from Illinois right now for some reason. He's sweeping? Oh, I thought you meant dad. I was like, that's
No.
weird. He had an appointment. This is a big one. My pet is well trained and is not dangerous to others and does not have a propensity to be vicious. My pet has never bitten, clawed, or caused harm to another person or another pet. This is a big protection for the landlord. It doesn't matter what breed, type, size, whatever. If a tenant's dog comes in, they're taking it on a walk and it bites a neighbor, it's on the tenant because of this form, it's not on the landlord. And that is huge, because people tend to not like getting bit. That's pretty much it. You're going to be putting in any kind of lease listing into the MLS pretty dang similarly to any listing for sale that you're going to be putting in there as well. The only difference is the price. If you guys do ever need examples of these forms that are filled out, because honestly, when I started opening them up, they made me go cross-eyed. Let me know. I can send you fully filled out examples. I'm just not going to go over them on this recording because obviously they contain sensitive information. But if you need that, let me know. I can give it to you in less than 5 minutes
Thank you.
normally. You're welcome.